Hello, hello, hello. I can see everyone's filtering in, so we'll give it a second. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Been with us for 4 weeks now.
4 weeks, I know. Wild. It's gone super quick. It's been fun.
It's been so much fun. If you can hear us, put into the chat where you are, whether you've attended prior sessions or you're catching up live with this one. We'd love to know where you're at. And welcome to everyone.
Yeah, this one's going to be a little bit different.
Absolutely. All right.
All right.
Let's get started.
Let's do it. All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Week 4, part 4. Let's talk about what we've already been through. Quick little recap. So we know the world has shifted. We need to be efficient. Profit First Professionals Australia and New Zealand, combined with Thriday, all come together to create optimal business outcomes, process, people, technology. Thriday, you can do it all in one platform. Part 1, we spoke about common financial mistakes and all of these different things. We won't go through them individually. We'll follow up. You'll have access to all of the replays for all of the sessions if you haven't attended, and we'll go from there. Part 2, preparation and mindset, all about success. And then we went through part 3, which is all about cash flow optimization and getting right down into the detail of the Profit First method, how to set that up, why to set it up, when to do what, a nice little weekly checklist as well to keep you on track. And I learned quite a bit during that session myself. So thanks, Laura, for sharing all of the secrets.
My pleasure.
Part 4, today we're going to talk about tips, tricks and tools that we use in our businesses to work as efficiently as possible. And at the end, we've got a nice little link for you guys to download a PDF which has links to all of these tools, because there's a lot of them. Once I started putting them together, I was actually surprised myself at how many different sort of processes and tools that we use. Like, you know, you guys use some of them that we don't use, and we use some that you guys don't use. But you know, for any business that's watching this particular webinar right now, there's going to be certainly some food for thought in amongst that list.
Absolutely.
So the way we'll go through it is, I'm just going to open up, I've got them all grouped, but I'll pretty much open up the websites of them. I'll show you the list of all of them, but I'll open up and we'll talk about just the most exciting ones, or the ones that people may not sort of use every day. Happy with that, Laura?
Yeah, that's great. And just so you know, we put this together based on what we use ourselves to be as efficient. Because one of the things that a lot of people assume is that we're really big business, when in actual fact, we run a really small and efficient team. And we rely very heavily on the tools to really help us serve the number of people that we serve. And I think that that's an important piece of information to know. So it's not some big corporation saying, do all of the things. We really are living all of the tips and tricks that we can possibly find to be as efficient as possible.
100%. You know, although I get help from around the business, I'm kind of a one-man growth and marketing team at Thriday. So I need all the help I can get with processes and tools to make it as efficient as I can. Laura's got multiple businesses that, you know, she's running. So it's efficiency is key.
That's
all right. So as I said, I'm going to do this a little bit differently. We're going to crack open all of these, and I'm going to open these up in tab groups. So communication, you guys use walkie-talkie or Voxel, Laura?
Yeah, so we use this in different ways. So we've got Voxel, which is very much like the walkie-talkie, where you can leave voice clips. It can be live or it can be after the fact. You can upload photos and that sort of thing, but the true purpose is really for a quick, hey, there's this going on, can you help me? Or whatever. It's not a place where you do all of your work. And I actually utilize this in my other businesses as well with client communication. So if I'm working with a VRB client or one-on-one where there's a lot of sort of support that's being provided, then I will set them up to communicate with specific things to me there. And I do a lot of my coaching within Voxer too. So it has a lot of different options there. And
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, that's one I haven't used. We use Teams internally, not my favorite tool, but it gets the job done in terms of being able to communicate asynchronously. We're remote, so I work in Sydney. Most of the team are in Melbourne, so asynchronous communication is super important to us. And on that note, Loom is one of my absolute favorites, and these guys have come a long way even just recently. Yes. So now you can take a quick recording of anything that you need to. Say you wanted to set up a standard operating procedure, you could have some dot points in a Google Doc. You could talk through them on Loom, go through the process of how you do those things. Loom will then spit out a summary using AI of your video with timestamps of each section of the video, and it will give the video a new sort of relevant title for what you're talking about. So that's a great representation of a tool that's built AI in, so you don't even have to think about it, right? Which is phenomenal. I use Loom all the time. If I've got a bug with another piece of software, I'll make a quick video of it and send it to their customer support so they completely understand exactly where it's coming from. If I need to show one of our team how to do something, I'll make a video, right? I'll make a Loom and flick it over. Super big time saver.
Something here saying that the screen view is not being seen properly. So
okay, let me have a go.
Could you just share it again? And I think Michelle's working her magic in the back end.
Bear with me for a sec.
Share screen again. I think Michelle's just changed the view.
Can you see that?
I can see it fine, my end, and I can see that Alice says that it's fine, but just I think we continue on. The one thing with Loom as well is that great. We've got confirmation that it's all good now. So thank you for that. Awesome. Is that we use Gmail or Google Workspace, and the great thing with Loom is that it embeds within the email as well. So I do a lot of reach out to people via Loom too, so that like if they've gone and given feedback for something, then I want to give them a personal thank you, not just a hey, great, thanks so much. I'll do a Loom video, it embeds in that email, and then it can go out to them and they can see immediately what it is. So it's really great for that. And we also use Loom for a lot of our SOPs and processes and that sort of stuff, because it has, as you said, the transcript and the summary and all of that. So it's really worth its weight in gold.
100%. They've even got a mobile app. So if you're a tradie and you finished a job, you could take a quick Loom right there and then SMS the client a link. They can crack it open and away you go. Killer tool. And you'll see it come up in quite a few of these different sections. Slack, everyone knows about Slack. Let's not talk about that. Okay, prioritization. Now, this RICE framework, again, we'll share the link so you can have a look through yourself. But in terms of prioritizing different growth projects that I might want to work on, even this webinar series was at the top of the list when it came to my RICE framework, right? And what RICE stands for is reach, impact, confidence, and effort, right? And it's a quick little formula that you use to score the different projects that you want to work on. Might not work for a tradie business or whatever, but certainly for a business like ours are super important when there's so many different things that we could be doing, building, thinking about. What we need to do is make sure that it's getting in front of as many people as possible. We have the confidence that it's going to work and it's not going to take up all of our resources and time to get it done. So really cool little framework.
I love a good hack, and this is such a good hack because it's a framework that you can use over and over again.
Exactly. Yeah. Dump it into a spreadsheet, put all of your ideas in there and score them, and, you know, get rid of any bias that you might have to wanting to do some particular project for whatever reason you might have in the back of your head. Eisenhower matrix, another cool one. You can get the templates in Notion, etc. Do you want to talk through this one, Laura? Do you guys use this?
Yes, so I actually use it a lot, and it is very much around, again, when you have lots of things that you've got your focus pulling you in different directions. And so it's really outlining what is urgent and what is important, and really grading whether it's just urgent but not really important. And, you know, if that is the case, then is it really urgent?
Yeah.
And then, you know, is it an important thing, or is it urgent because someone else has put a time frame around it? And so again, with multiple businesses that I run, I could be spending all of my time doing all of the things and getting nowhere. And I definitely feel that way sometimes. And so this really puts me back into check again as to, is it just me feeling that something's important when in actual fact it's not going to move forward, and I'm feeling that sense of urgency. And it really then allows me to focus on the urgent and important tasks that will move us forward.
100%, 100%. And a quick little shout out for Trello. Super easy way to organize anything that you're doing in a Kanban view. I like it.
I have dropped the link into the chat as well, so you can open up all of these tools that we're sharing and the direct links as well, so you can follow us at home.
Nice. ClickUp. You guys are big on ClickUp for collaboration and project management across the team.
Yeah, so just to give you a bit of an idea as to how we use it, we have had it set up a bit differently to what it is out of the box because of how we work. And I use ClickUp in different businesses as well. So in a service-based business, it is very much for the team, their checklists, to-dos, for me to be able to see a visualization of what they're doing, be able to communicate within there. Within the Profit First side of things, we have members that we look after and all of that, as well as events and marketing and all of the things. And so we have specific spaces within ClickUp that allow for the admin, for the members, for the marketing, for the events, that sort of stuff. And within there, we've got different views, from list view to Kanban to who's in charge of what. And the powerful thing is that ClickUp is incredibly automated. So an example being that at the moment we've got a dinner with Mike coming up in October, and anytime a ticket is purchased, there's an automation that goes into ClickUp to tell us who it is, where they're located, and trigger a series of things that we then need to do from our back end so that it's not in our heads. And so we really, really love ClickUp, especially because it is really well priced too. And you can start on the free version and it does a lot. So if this is something that you don't have in place, it is a really good option.
Very, very powerful tool. Another one you guys use is Streak.
Yes. Yeah, so Streak is within your email and it connects within Gmail. This is more for sorting yourself out and not getting stuck in your emails, because I know that if I open up my emails and I use that as my to-do list, then we are doomed. And so Streak really is about setting up different boxes. So I get invoices that come in here that need to be paid, and so it goes into the invoice sort of stream within there, which goes to the payables, and then the team deal with it and that sort of stuff. We've also got, you can set it up for your leads. So if you're being contacted by someone who wants to work with you, then you can easily follow up with quotes and know exactly what communication's been going on as well. Also love the fact that you can share folders, and you can also set up reminders and tasks and that sort of thing for you too within there. But it's a great starting point in terms of if you don't have anything and you are working out of your emails, then Streak's a great tool to put in it. But if you're a bigger sort of, you need more team and that, then I would look at something like ClickUp.
Yeah,
this is just how I organize me.
Yeah, really good for simple sales funnels and that kind of thing. We found back in the day. One of my favorite tools is Roam Research, and this is kind of a bit of a niche thing, really. Not too many people know about this. Obsidian is another one that's similar to this, but this is like a second brain, right? So what you do with Roam Research is whenever you read something that is interesting, or you're thinking about or working on a project, you can have little templates within Roam, and then you can put square brackets around the sort of keywords or themes related to that particular project or template. Like I might have square brackets around tools, and every cool tool that I think of or that I come across, I can just put a link to it in here, drop tools around it, and then I've got a page where all of the tools that I've ever captured in here exist. If I'm working on SEO, I might have a full section for SEO. So anything related to SEO, I can quickly capture, put a little tag of SEO on it, and drop it into Roam. It's literally like having a second brain. The reason why I use it is because I've always found myself going, where did I see that, or where did I read that, or what was I doing there, or which page of my notebook did I write that in? This solves all of those problems. Amazing tool. And then some obvious ones, Google Workspace, Office 365. A lot of people use them, but obviously super, super handy for productivity.
And on that, as well as if you are already paying for Workspace or Microsoft 365, before going to another tool, really delve into what they have. So it's not just about storage space. It's not just about emails. There are the things like VoIP phones and that, using Teams or Google Meet and that sort of thing. But there's also portals that you can open up, and it really is extensive as to what is included in that small monthly fee. And so looking at those first before jumping to other things, because I know that most of the people I talk to do not utilize nearly half of the things that are already available to them.
Yeah, 100%. The Google Workspace has some amazing features in there, really, like collaboration across Google Docs and content creation. And once they build AI into these things, like little co-pilots into Excel and co-pilots into Google Docs, it's going to be amazing.
Absolutely.
Now we're on to customer. This tool, Refiner. So I spoke about this in one of the other sessions. It's micro surveys. So whenever someone does something important, like sends an invoice, makes a payment, scans a receipt, uploads a bill for Bill Manager in Thriday, if they haven't closed a survey within the last couple of days, they'll get a little pop-up asking how easy it was to do that thing, right? And what this creates is a customer feedback loop. So we always understand the sentiment, not only across the product as a whole, but for each individual feature within the product. Now, there is no better ROI of any product or any tool than some sort of customer feedback loop. You've got to do it. If you don't have to do it like this, you might have a SaaS product, right, where you're going to ask for these micro surveys. But if you're not doing a post-campaign report, if you're not following up with customers to ask for the feedback on how the whole project was handled, then you're doing something wrong, because that feedback is going to make you better. It's going to make your business better. You're going to get reviews out of it. It's going to get you more clients. It's going to enable you to charge more. It's going to enable you to fix the right things that need fixing and not waste time on the things that no one's using. I can't rave about this more highly.
And the thing is feedback doesn't have to be heavy or manual or a really big thing. It is really pinpointing where in the process you could be getting that feedback that's really simple. So where I see things go wrong is that it's really long feedback forms that get sent that then have lots of follow-up there, and it's not easy for a person to give that.
Yeah, you might be doing customer research with another tool like Typeform, for example, which is another one that I love. And you go through the business and everyone wants to ask 3 different questions, right? And then all of a sudden it turns into this mishmash of research that doesn't make any sense. So be specific. There's ways to do research really well. And Typeform is a good start because it's a beautiful product to use, super easy to create surveys. It looks good, works really well on mobile. You get really good results. Another good one we use for our community is Circle. So anyone that joins Thriday gets access to a community of other small business owners. And within here, they can stay up to date. They can get customer support. They can, talk about whatever problems. They can network in amongst each other. Really super easy to use platform to communicate with your community if your business is that way inclined. We love it. What do you guys use for community, Laura? Do you guys use anything specific for that?
We use, because we've only got members, we use Facebook groups and Zoom and that sort of thing. We don't actually utilize that. In my other businesses though, we use Telegram, because you can set up groups and it's encrypted, and you can have all sorts of different channels and stuff in it that work really well. So I find Telegram's really awesome for that.
Yeah, that's a good message in itself. Be where your customers are.
Yes.
Which makes things easy. Next we have.
While you're bringing that up, I'd love to know in the comments if any of you have used any of these tools, or maybe some tools that you are utilizing that, you know, those on the webinar can actually jump into and have a look, because it is a bit like a rabbit hole. I quite enjoy this.
It is a rabbit hole. Speaking of, here's a new tool that came online not that long ago, and we started to get into the AI realm, which I've been dabbling in. Perplexity.ai. You ask Perplexity any question and it will give you an answer, and then it will let you go down a deep rabbit hole.
Can you give us an example, Justin?
Well, here's a good one.
There we go.
Stars larger than the sun. You can go down this rabbit hole, and then it gives you a few more questions to answer. How do scientists measure the size of stars? You could spend days and days here. But the good thing is it gives you sources. So this is a big thing with something like ChatGPT. It'll lie to you all the time. It'll hallucinate. The stuff that you get back out of it is not true, not real. It's a great starting point, you know, for using like a marketing framework like Ada or something, if you're going to try and write a post. But do not use ChatGPT for your research purposes. Use something like Perplexity, where it'll write things in a nice way, like ChatGPT, and give you a great summary of answers. But it'll give you the truth, right? As far as the truth goes with different websites. Bing Chat,
into that.
Another free one. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. Don't spend too much time though there, Laura. You're busy. You've got things to do.
I know.
Bing Chat, pretty much the free version of ChatGPT, but also has access to the internet, which makes it super cool for research purposes. Google Trends, I love Google Trends. I've got alerts set up for different trends that come through to me every day, so you can newsjack and do all of that kind of cool stuff, write about things that are happening in the world that you might not have thought about or known about. So I really like that.
What are some of the examples that you have set up?
I've got a couple related to small business. So, you know, tax as a trend, like if any new tax rules come out, I get notified. Very, very exciting, I know. My life is very exciting. But they're the kind of things that come into my inbox. So
love it.
Yeah. Polefish is another good one. So Typeform is amazing if you've got a database of customers that you can access to do the research yourself. But Polefish gives you access to people that aren't on your database. So what I do is I might create a survey in Typeform, send that to my database, then I'll duplicate that in Polefish, and Polefish will go out and reach, you know, if I want 1,000 survey responses, these guys will make sure that they get 1,000 survey responses. So very well priced and very, very good for doing research outside of your existing sphere of influence, if you like.
Love that. I can see Shane here has shared that he's used Slack when doing a uni course, and has been using Snip to keep track of bills. Oh, a tool I've not heard of.
Nice. Very nice.
So I might go look in that rabbit hole afterwards.
Yes. Now we are on to content creation. ChatGPT. I don't have a pretty screen for you here, but that's just their login screen. Laura, are you guys using this?
Yes, we do use this. And the best way that I have found to utilize it, because words are not my strong point, is in terms of typing. And I can talk your ear off, but I can't actually type a whole heap of good sounding stuff. For things like creating maybe lead magnets, so quizzes and that sort of thing, to really drill down and have a conversation and be able to put in who we're trying to talk to and what we're trying to achieve, and asking it to come up with different, quiz options and that sort of stuff, does it really quickly, and then you can edit it. So that checklists, worksheets, with us knowing what we're wanting from it. I find that if you're going to put it in and just say, give me this thing, and it's really broad, it's going to be crap, and everyone's going to know that it's Chat GPT. Yeah. But if you can be very specific, or see where, I guess, you could be helped. And in my case, if you ask me to create a quiz, it's going to take me 10 years to do it. Chat GPT really helps with that. Yeah,
100%. They've just launched Code Interpreter into ChatGPT not that long ago. So if you've got a spreadsheet or a CSV file with a whole bunch of data and you're not great at pivot tables, or you want to know anything about it, you can drop that whole spreadsheet into ChatGPT Code Interpreter, ask it any questions, and it will come back with some pretty amazing answers using your actual data. A good example I tried the other day after our last webinar, we talked about operating ratio, right? So I did an export of a bunch of my transactions from my Thriday account and asked what was the operating ratio, and bang, it came back with exactly what it was.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I can see some love in the comments around ChatGPT. I have no idea it did that. Now, goodbye, everyone. I'll see you next week or whatever. I'm going to go do that.
Yeah, it's $20 a month. It's worth paying the little bit extra for Code Interpreter and GPT-4, even if it's just to play with.
Yeah, awesome.
Loom again, amazing for content creation. I'm always making Loom videos to help people out and to help them understand me better. Canva, we all know about Canva, but it just gets better every day. The number of templates available in Canva is just phenomenal. Like, it's almost the paradox of choice. It's almost overwhelming. But if you just pick one, run with it and go, it's going to be better off than, certainly anything I would do from scratch.
The one thing about Canva, though, that a lot of people don't realize is that there's also AI in there, so you can bulk create social media content. So if you have like 10 top tips, you go to ChatGPT and you say, give me the 10 top tips for, women who love hiking. I'm just pulling something out of nowhere at the moment. And it comes up with some tips, and you like them and you've done your thing. You can then export that and put it into a sheet, put it into Canva, and it will bulk create your social media posts with all of those tips already in it once you have a template. Boom. It takes seconds.
Oh, I'm doing that as soon as we get off here. Grammarly, I'm terrible at grammar. I'm not a great speller. I am getting better, but I'm pretty bad. Grammarly is worth every cent just to make sure that you come across professionally and there are no mistakes, and to simplify your writing as well, because you can get a bit verbose. I can get a bit verbose and tend to over-explain things a little bit. Hemingway is another good one to shorten things, make them short, sharp, and simple, such that a 6th grader can understand them. Super cool for helping out, and even learning how to write better, I find. Putting your stuff through these tools, you get better as you use them. And then I love
Hemingway.
Yeah, Hemingway is super cool. And then Webflow. We use Webflow for our site. It's amazing. You've got, these content. You can set up templates like a blog post template, and then it's just simply filling out the fields to get them to display whatever content you want. Super easy to design, super easy to work with. We absolutely love Webflow.
Interesting. Never worked with it, so
good. Yeah, Framer is another good one. I'd love to go into more depth on each of these, but there's a bunch to get through. So,
and if you can't tell, we absolutely love our tools. So hit us up if you have questions.
Yeah, I'm a tool junkie. Design. So again, we've got Canva. You can't go past Canva for design. Figma's phenomenal. FigJam is amazing. I'm a very visual person. FigJam has templates for all kinds of things, collaborative as well. You can share them with your team. Everyone can talk to what's happening on that page at the same time, and move things around. Great for, you know, flow charts and diagrams of how things work. And Miro is another good one for that kind of thing as well. We use Figma and Canva every day. What else have we got? And what a product.
Yeah, so
Phenomenal.
I had not used it until we were collaborating with Thriday, and it was awesome in terms of like being able to zoom in and zoom out. It's as if it's very hands-on. Loved it. Absolutely.
Wild.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So our designer might be working through a file or whatever that's so many pages long. You can click on his little icon and just it'll guide you through whatever he's doing with his mouse at the time. It's super cool.
It's awesome.
What else have we got? Video. So we've been doing heaps of video lately, and I've been digging pretty deep on some pretty cool video tools. Zoom. Who doesn't use Zoom? We love Zoom.
Yes, we love Zoom too. We utilize Zoom for all of our open offices and co-working, so that we can have breakout rooms and that sort of thing. We absolutely love it. It's great. We can't really go past it.
Yeah, Zoom, I just find the quality, it just works, is what I love about Zoom. It's just better than the rest of them. OBS Studio is another one I found recently for screen recording and different things. I won't dig too deep because it's pretty complicated. But if you're a sort of the creative type and you make videos about your own products, jump on OBS Studio. It's free, it's open source, super powerful, and you get some really good stuff out of it. Descript is another one I love. They've kind of similar to what Thriday's done with banking, accounting, and tax. Descript have flipped video editing on its head. And what you do is you upload your videos to Descript, and it gives you the transcript of the video, so everything that's being said. And then the way you edit it is to go through the transcript and click on different words and add different scenes between the different sections of the words, overlay different videos on top of the other ones, choose which tracks you want to use, add in different images and backgrounds and layers, and you can move it all around. It's amazing. Makes video editing accessible to the masses, really. It's a really simple way to edit videos.
Really does.
You guys use it?
We use a number of different ones. We don't use Descript, but I know that a number of our members, Profit First Professionals, love it. Yeah,
it's super cool. Loom comes back again. We won't go into that again. But Opus Clip is a good one. So what you might see around the traps once we've finished this webinar series is a bunch of short videos and reels of some of the more exciting parts of each one of our webinars, Laura. Because what we do is take the full sort of hour-long video for each of those webinars, drop it into Opus. It'll go and find the exciting parts for us and spit out, say, 14 reels, right? And then you can choose the best 4 or 5 reels from those webinars. And what I'm finding is these shorts and reels are getting really good distribution across the social platforms and across YouTube, because they're all competing with one another to capture a lot of what TikTok's sort of started to take away from them. So the kind of distribution that you used to get back on Facebook just with normal content back in the day, you kind of got to have reels and shorts to be able to get that distribution organically now. So very cool. Another good AI product.
There's quite a lot in the out there at the moment when it comes to these shorts. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but we use a similar one which does the clips, but it also takes the written as well, so that you can have that as a highlight of what it's pulled in these clips too. And it just makes life so much easier, because again, not my strong suit, not something that I want to spend my 10 million hours not doing very well, if you know what I mean.
100%. You could spend days and days editing videos.
That's it.
So yeah, they've solved a massive problem for people.
There
like
you go.
me.
Michelle's just dropped it. So voice pen, and that turns it into blogs and that sort of thing from your webinars. So it'll summarize, put it into a blog so you can share it. And video.ai is what we use as well. So it's just gone into the chat. It does similar things.
Super cool. All right. marketing. We love marketing.
It is a necessary thing for businesses.
It is 100%. So email marketing, I'm a big fan of ConvertKit. If you're a smaller business and you want to educate with email and that kind of communication, haven't used it much on the transactional side of things. We currently use SendGrid, which it does the job, but I'm not a fan. Takes a fair bit of dev resource, but a lot of our comms at the moment are transactional for, invoices were sent or you received a payment, etc. So it kind of makes sense. That's where we start. If you've got a big budget, where I love to go is Braze, which, is kind of more of an enterprise product, but phenomenal what you can do with that. You guys use ActiveCampaign a bit, Laura?
We do. We use ActiveCampaign for all our automations and nurture sequences, and also emails out to our members and the general public and that sort of thing. And it's very powerful, and it's very visual, so that you can actually see what that sequence looks like. And again, for someone that I'm very visual, this works really well for me. Awesome. Yeah, I used that ActiveCampaign back in the day as well. Vero is another cool one. This is an Australian product. If you like to keep your data close to your chest, if you like within your database, and you don't like duplicating your data in all of these different platforms, Vero actually gives you the ability to send emails in bulk by using the data from within your data warehouse and not saving any of that data to any of the email service provider platforms. Wow. It's quite novel, quite different, solves a bit of a different problem for security conscious businesses. But if you're that way inclined, well worth checking them out. Super cool product and a really good team of guys as well. If you sell courses or your own sort of products or educational material, like video courses or whatever, Podia and Kajabi are great, kind of all-in-one platforms where you can do the marketing, do the email follow-ups, accept payment, subscription payments, and also store and house all of your course content. Super cool products. I really like Podia specifically. Yeah, a number of our members use Podia. I'm putting another one into the works, and I've just chucked it in the comments, and that is Simplero. So that's another all-in-one, and that's one that I use in my other businesses because I sell courses, but I also for one-on-ones, and if you have like tiered pricing with different things. So like with our membership, first year's one price and it goes down over a period of time. It's all automated, so you can set it up once and it just knows that if they renew, it goes down to the next price. Also has all the email marketing within there as well. You can create lead pages for it too that integrates with your existing website or by itself. And it stores everything. It's just really user-friendly, and it's a really lovely experience. So highly recommend Simplero as well.
Cool. And we're automation. Last but not least, Zapier, amazing product, pretty much integrate with anything, similar to if this, then that. But it's literally rules like that. So, if I wanted to create a blog post based on the different emails I get from various providers, I could set up a rule that when an email with something in the subject line comes in, Zapier sees it. Zapier could automatically create a blog post in Webflow with a rule like that. Or, if I wanted to, if something came into Thriday as a transaction, we're not actually integrated with Zapier, so that's a bad example. But if I had a spreadsheet that I filled out or whatever with all my different transactions, and I wanted to feed that into another accounting platform, you can set up rules like that. Zapier, if you want to automate your life, go and have a play with Zapier. Amazing tool.
We use it everywhere.
Yeah, I expect we'll integrate it with Zapier eventually. It's been on my list of things that I want since pretty much the beginning, because it just opens everything up, right?
It does.
Make.com, very similar product to Zapier, basically a copycat and competitor. just reject. But pretty website.
It is pretty.
And then Thriday, how could I go past Thriday?
Absolutely.
Automate the bookkeeping, accounting, and tax calculations. Set up profit first. Away you go. Cash flow automated.
That's it. We can't, like, you couldn't expect us not to bring Thriday into this, right?
Yeah, it took all my effort to wait until last.
Awesome. So again, we've dropped the link into the chat with all of the things that we've shared today. And was there anything else, any other tool that you're wanting to share?
That's us. Yeah, that's everything really.
We do have a challenge.
We do have a challenge. What is the challenge for today, Laura?
Just like every other week when we set a challenge, we've got one for you today, and that is the area in your business that is taking you the most amount of time, or where it's not your zone of genius and it could be better. Pinpoint that and choose a tool that could really alleviate that, and then integrate it and run with it and leverage it.
Leverage it. Yeah, I love that word. It's all about leverage.
That's
Any other
right.
questions from anyone?
Yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat or the Q&A. I know that this has been a lot of information and we could go into each of them in so much detail. But if there's something that we've shown that you're wanting a little bit more information about, feel free to jump in, ask the question. And thank you, Shane, for letting me know, Snip. All of the recordings have gone out, and you will receive all 4 when we finish up here, plus with the email afterwards. I believe that's integrated. Do you want to talk to that, Justin, in terms of the recordings?
Yeah, so you should get an email tomorrow, because it follows up a day after the recording goes out. So you'll get an email tomorrow with a link to a YouTube playlist that has all 4 webinars on it. Yeah.
Fantastic. And we've got a question here saying, I understand Thriday is designed for the sole trader, but what if I'm a company and the sole director?
If you're a company and the sole director, in about 3 months, we'll have a solution for you, because we'll be able to onboard companies. We do have people who are using a sole trader ABN to sign up to Thriday, to use the receipt scanning and all of that kind of stuff, but there are tax implications having, money from one entity in another entity's bank account. So
yeah, we don't advise that. So yes. So another question, will Thriday replace Xero, or will we use both?
you could use Thriday as a replacement to Xero for sure. But depending on how your business is set up, I actually tested it yesterday. You can have bank feeds from Thriday to Xero, and MYOB if you need to, or if you wish, depending on the complexity of your business or businesses, etc. So yeah, you certainly don't need to use Xero when you're using Thriday, but you can if you want to.
And just a thing to note there, that like I understand, and we all understand, how timing can be when it is changing over to different systems. And so if you're going to do one thing and you can't yet go on to Thriday because you're a company or whatever, utilize the bank side of stuff and set up the bank accounts there. Again, I know it's sole trader, but even so, you've got, especially when it comes to Profit First, the 9 bank accounts that you can set up, and the fact that there's bank feeds into Xero and MYOB for now until you can use the whole thing with Thriday. Do it, is what I say.
100%. Yeah, I was doing I was setting up the Thriday bank account product listing for Finder the other day, actually, and going through all of the competitor banks that they've got listed. And, I'm biased, of course, but the feature set was actually top notch. Like, to be able to set up 9 accounts, you've got Apple Pay, you've got Google Pay, you've got fee-free over-the-counter transactions with Bank at Post. So 3,500 Australia Post offices effectively become your bank branches if you want to deposit cash, etc. Yeah, super cool just for the bank accounts.
Love that. Can Thriday be used for personal finances, including receipts, invoices?
You know what? I'm like I will get this over the line as a feature. It can't be at the moment, but just between you and me, it takes only a couple of minutes to set up a sole trader ABN. So if you wanted to use Thriday for your personal banking under a sole trader ABN, you could certainly go away and do it.
And then that's going to be scratched from the recording afterwards.
No, well, you know what I mean? Like it's legit. You can have a sole trader ABN and set up Thriday, because at the end of the day, sole trader's just a personal, like it's one tax return. Yeah.
Awesome. We also have another question. Someone was running a little late and they would like to know if there are any tools mentioned that would be helpful when sending contractors to different jobs. So for a service-based business. Great
question. What's your problem? Like, what challenge are you trying to overcome exactly?
Yeah, that's going to really help. That is it. So they know where they're going, or is it multiple locations? Is it more about the scheduling? Because we can approach this from all different ways. So if you want to give us a bit more info, we'll circle back to that question. And Santosha said, can I use QuickBooks for now till Thriday launches its company version and roll it over?
So yeah, you certainly can. In terms of rolling it over, we don't have an import function at the moment where you can bring in all of your historical data and then see it in Thriday. That's something that we would like. But in saying that, depending on how much data you've got in QuickBooks, like if you're a pretty new business and you want to just start out using QuickBooks, you can certainly do that. And then it wouldn't be too much of an ask to come over to Thriday. You just literally create a manual balance for your total income to date to get you the calculations relating to the tax-free threshold and everything up to scratch, and then a manual balance for your total expenses to date, and then the net view of that means you're sort of ready to rock and roll with Thriday.
Awesome. So circling back to that, it's scheduling and real-time changes. I would agree with David with ServiceMate. Is a really good option for that. So ServiceMate's great with the scheduling. There's also Gorilla Desk too. That's another app that I've used a lot, and that is very much real-time scheduling. But ServiceMate has it to their iPad, and they can see notes. So if something changes or the schedules change, that happens in real time. So those two are really good options. There you go. Therese has just said Fergus is also good for scheduling. Are there any apps that can help with designing and creating an app? You know something about this, Justin.
Designing and creating. So I think Bubble is pretty good for no-code app creation. You can get something up and running pretty quickly. I haven't used it myself. We build all of our code and everything from scratch. We design, so we use a product called ADO, which is a Microsoft product to write all of our user stories. And then off the back of those stories comes the design for the user experience. And then from the user experience design, we'll go away and build sort of mock-ups and get users to come and test those mock-ups. And then we'll go take that feedback and do a redesign. And then it goes to the developers to code it up. They'll build the APIs for the back end, and then they'll do all the front end development that way. So I think if you're looking for something quick, easy, and low to no code, is Bubble.
Awesome. And the other thing as well, if it's just the design of what it's going to look like, then Figma, what we showed before, is actually a very good option for that, because you can actually have like the different screens and that sort of thing that you're expecting to see in the app and what it looks like. So if it's even very beginnings of just trying to create a design around it, then Figma is a good one. Yeah,
and you don't have to start from scratch with Figma. There's so many community plugins, and like, you know, whatever you can think of has been done before. So you can literally just drag and drop and move some stuff around, change the branding, change the color scheme, and then, you know, go to Upwork or something and give it to a developer and say, can you build me something like this?
Mm-hmm. Love these questions though, curveballs left, right and center with different options. But yeah, the tools are great. So any other questions, or anyone wanting to share an app that's come to mind or a tool based on some of the questions that have been asked, feel free to pop it in the chat.
I'm super pumped about testing out that Canva social posting from the
Yep.
Google Sheet.
It's called Bulk Create within
Bulk
Canva.
Create.
Yeah,
super cool.
Really, really easy. I have used Dubsado. What would you like to know about it? So I'm a bit of a systems person, so I really love all of the systems. And in my other business, I have a lot of different clients that use Dubsado. So the pros with Dubsado is the client portal within it, plus all of your invoicing and it being all in one is really good. I found that the entry in pricing, I don't know what it's at now, is pretty good compared to other options. I do find it's limited though when it comes to integrations with things and if you're growing. So it's very, very good for the workflows and the client journey, and for your client, it's very user friendly. But I find it's not part of an ecosystem as such. Like, yes, they do integrations, but it's very minimal. And it looks really nice, but it wouldn't be my go-to necessarily.
Where do you find people end up after Dubsado? Like, because we've had quite a few people who like move away from it, but I just don't know where they move to.
Yeah, so a lot of my clients have moved from Dubsado to Simplero or to ClickUp or anything like that, because you can have client portals within ClickUp too. And depending on the type of the business and what it is that they're trying to do, because ClickUp integrates with Zapier and does all of the things depending on what your ecosystem is. So yeah. You can see there's lots of different things in the chat. So I also use Microsoft To Do for the simple to-do list on my phone. Love that. Can't go past a good simple to-do list. And in fact, there was a question on social media by one of our Profit First professionals who asked, are you a digital or a paper person when it comes to to-do lists and workflows and that sort of thing? And it was really interesting to see that a lot of people said it was a mixture, and that the paper to-do list, like the focus only on this right now, is very much still in force, but the team collaboration and workflows and automation are all digital. So yeah, just I love that, Shane. Thanks.
100%. I'll use both. I'll have a massive long digital to-do list, but if I got to get shit done during the day, it'll be like 3 things on my list and on my notepad, crossing those bad boys off with a pen.
Me too. May have already been mentioned, but is there a way to drop invoices into a project to keep track of costs? Are you talking within Thriday or are you talking generally? So I'll wait for you to confirm that and then we can circle back. A little left of field, but figured I'd ask in case someone else has had queries from clients. I'm looking for an app that handles containing all data, including bank accounts, life insurance details, for the purpose of death planning and succession planning in the event of death. Yes, so Michelle hit the nail on the head. My Life Capsule is a great one. So thank you, Michelle, for that. I couldn't remember the name. So yeah, it's really, really good. I see that a lot of people saying, yes, they use both too. Was a digital to-do list, but have gone back to paper. It seems to work better. It's the dopamine hit. And that's the thing with the tool. If you're finding your focus or your prioritizations going off and you're going all over, you need a good dopamine hit. And that is a ticking off a feeling of completion happening. So ensuring that your tools do that for you.
Yeah.
Security software to remain safe online. Depending on your business, so we use Practice Protect. So Practice Protect is very much used by accounting and bookkeeping businesses because we hold heaps of private information and stuff. And with multiple teams everywhere, you can geo-lock. So if you've got outsourcing or anything like that, it can be just where they are. And it is one login, and they have tiles where they can just jump into all of the things from that. They don't know any of their passwords. It's only through this. Very, very secure. It's integrates with Microsoft and Gmail. It's the best security app that I have found. It's annoying though, because it's so secure. So if something goes wrong, it's like, I don't know my password, and the password resets don't get sent to the person because that defeats the purpose of the security. Do you know what I mean? So it depends.
Yeah, we use the full Microsoft stack when it comes to security. Like I can't do anything related to work on my phone outside of a Microsoft product. And even within a Microsoft product, I can't even copy paste an email address or anything like that. Yeah, the security is next level.
It is next level.
But I don't have I don't have any specific recommendations for small businesses, but I know it's a problem. I know people need to be thinking about it. My neighbor, who's a physiotherapist, his business got hacked. They took his control of his website, his emails, and it doesn't take much to bring down a little business and can become quite costly.
Yeah. And the biggest thing there is to have your cybersecurity insurance, and also things like secure passwords, so like 1Password and that sort of thing. If you are using LastPass, I do recommend moving away from it because of the hacks that have happened. And two-factor authentication goes a long way too. But if you're wanting an all-in-one, Practice Protect can work for anyone, and it's really, really good. Let's see what else we got in here. That's awesome. See, Michelle's come to the rescue with that stuff for you, Tanya, so that's great. And I can see that you've also mentioned two-factor authentication. All right, awesome. We've just had someone ask again if they can get the recording through as soon as possible. We will do our best, absolutely.
You know what, it actually takes Zoom quite a bit of time to process the recording after this, and then it becomes my fault because I get sidetracked doing actual work. So I'll get it to you as quickly as I possibly can, but it's certainly not Laura's fault or Michelle's fault. It's all my fault if things are delayed.
No one's fault, and we're all human. And the tools are good, but it still requires us to use them. How do you prevent hacking? Well, there's lots of different things that you can prevent hacking with, and that is ensuring that all of your passwords are not the same, even though I know a lot of people do that. Changing passwords regularly, two-factor authentication where you can, not clicking on links in emails, even if they look good. And a tip there is to look at what the actual URL is of the link, and also what the sender address is, even if it looks really great. The secure passwords like the 1Password and all of that. There's a lot that you can do that doesn't require Fort Knox that will go a really long way. So yeah, I hope that helps. I have absolutely loved answering all the questions. Thank you, Justin, for showing us all of the tools.
No, thank you, Laura, for all of your insight and experience, throughout this whole 4-part series. Amazing. Absolutely could not have done it without you. So thank you so much.
It's been so much fun, and I'm sad to say goodbye to all of the people that have joined consistently each week and have been watching the recordings. Reach out to either of Profit First or Thriday. We genuinely want to help. So any questions, send them our way.
Yeah, 100%. Even if it's nothing to do with cash, if you've got any questions about any of these tools or anything like that, more than happy to jump on a call and show you how stuff works.
I missed a question. Response read drop invoices into a project to keep track of costs. So they're generally asking about that.
So the way that works in Thriday is you can tag your invoices with a particular project or client or whatever you want. And same with transactions. You can tag transactions within Thriday. And what we're finding is, we didn't even realize how powerful this tool would be when we created it, to be honest. But because you're limited to our pre-created chart of accounts and categories within Thriday to enable all of the automation, what the tags can become is actually their own custom chart of accounts in a sense, right? So, you can use those. It could be for a project, or it could be for a product type or a category or whatever. It just gives you complete customization of all of your financial data effectively. So you can tag quotes, invoices, and inbound and outbound transactions.
And I'll just add that there are a lot of business and industry specific apps that are out there for this.
So
depending on what industry you are in or the clients that you're serving, I could give you a really long list of other things as well. But again, it comes back to, with any tool, what is the major pain that you're experiencing, or friction, or the problem that you're trying to solve, and what's getting in the way of it, because that'll then determine which type of tool is best suited. So an example being that if it is all about tradies businesses, using something like ServiceMate does a lot of the project stuff, which then can integrate with the accounting side. And it's more looking at the bigger picture, not just the finance too, because what answers are you trying to see within the tags of the project and that sort of stuff. And that's where Thriday's tags are very, very powerful. So yeah, the more specific you can be, the better the tool can be set up.
Yeah, I love that. I use that I do a lot of stuff with data and charts and analytics and stuff. And if you can't answer these two questions, you don't get the chart. It's what question am I trying to answer with the data, and what am I going to do with it once I've got it? Because if you don't know what question you're trying to answer, it's a waste of my time. And if you don't know what you're going to do with the data or the answer once you've got it, it's also a waste of time. So ask yourself the same thing about tools and tags and all of that kind of stuff.
Love that. And Rosalie's got a quick question. She's setting up Thriday. Under industry, there's no coaching, life coach in industry section. What is the closest?
So this is where that's a good question. Don't stress too much about the industry that you choose at that point in time. Just pick whatever you think might be the closest. So it might even be something to do with marketing or education, maybe to a quick type of education, and something might come up, but you can change that later in the settings.
Do you have professional services or something like that? That's my go-to for everything industry when I can't find it.
It's the standard business industry codes, and right. they're not great. They're not amazing. So,
and we have been onto the ATO and all of that, and the ANZIC codes, for changing it to something that actually makes sense to us small business people. But yeah, professional services or services, whatever, I can't remember the exact name. If it's the standard industry, is my go-to when I can't find the specific one. Yeah, and
there's only a handful of them where it actually makes a difference to the implication of tax calculation, etc. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I love these last minute questions as well. And thanks again, Justin. And it's been an absolute ride. Loved it.
Yeah, thank you, Laura. It won't be the last, I'm sure.
Absolutely not. We'll see you all online soon.
See you guys.